Hello guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video we are going to be talking about I alone can save them. This also is a quote from Raz at the end of this episode. That's why it's called I alone can save them. But in this episode we basically get a bunch of stuff. The ninja, like Lloyd's team, ends up fighting Zark. I will say, throughout this whole season, Zark is probably my least favourite member of the five. I will probably do a ranking of them in general, just how I like them. Like my dislike to what's liked of members of the five, just because, season 3 part 1's out, and it's not sure if we'll get them in season 3 part 2. So I'll have to wait and see for that. At the start of this episode, basically, they end up breaking 2 of the chains of Thunderfang, which, in all honesty, I didn't know they would even start breaking it. I thought they would, have all the blades and break them all at once, or, simultaneously, all at once, one after the other. I didn't know they'll break throughout the episodes, so I was, kind of a bit surprised when I was watching this a bit. Anyway, with the Zane and, Pixel thing, Pixel's kind of trying to reboot Zane and get him up online. She eventually does. It takes a while, but she does it. And I will say the main bit about this episode is Kerr going after one of the prismatic blades. The prismatic blade that got broken during Lloyd and Zeatrix's fight in the Tournament of Elements. Basically, they end up fighting for the prismatic blade. Well, by fighting, I mean the temple guards kind of get overpowered pretty easily by the Dragonians, and then Roby tries to defend and take the prismatic blade. For some reason, thinks she can, and Kerr ends up decaying him, which we saw in the trailer. We already knew this was going to happen, so we weren't. So I don't doubt anyone was surprised. Some people probably liked him getting decayed. Some people probably it's a bit of a waste. I will say the Roby getting decay gives Wildfire a story in this part, because Wildfire's first love, Roby's been decayed on his deathbed. Wildfire ends up getting a letter to come because the city's been attacked, and she's trying to take good care of Roby. Basically, Roby's half decayed. He's like, I never really read any Asian roots, so he hands him a book for the ninja to read through, and they'll end up finding this later on. So, yes. And then later in this episode, Zane and Pixel end up rejoining the ninja. They don't really tell us how they got there, but they end up rejoining the ninja with Big Mac Zane. This is how his transition happens, apparently. Somehow, I'm assuming something in the arsenal, someone made Zane be able to build a Big Mac for Zane. But either way, they end up rejoining the battle and Zart. In this episode, we also see Rox treating the Forbidden Five who fail her, kind of like garbage and all that. Zart is probably my least likable one. Also, he's just thrown away by Rox because I will say throughout this whole season, if you've watched all the episodes, Zart is the only one who fails to get a blade. And it wasn't even that hard. Rock's fault, and they will find majority ninja, I guess. But I feel like his power mix fortune could have been used way more. But either way, it was still a great episode, and the episode kind of ends on Raz saying he can save them all, while simultaneously showing Eren his parents' grave. Realistically, you shouldn't believe Raz. Let's be honest here. There's no proof that's your parents' grave. Because for one, if you think about it, for one, who the heck buried them? That's one. Second of all, why bury them all the way over there where there's nothing to be seen for ages? Third of all, I'm assuming Raz knows his name and he's planned this because they've been together after season 2. So I'm assuming this happened before season 2. He already planned to get them. And then he orchestrated someone to get a bunch of graves with some names written on it. Either way, you shouldn't believe Raz at all. Or which is less likely to happen, Raz actually believes Eren's parents are dead. and all, but we will find out later on that that's not the case in literally the last episode of this part. I won't talk about that now. I'll talk about that in literally the last episode when I do the last review of the season 3 part 1. A great episode. I won't really have anything I dislike about it. It's just like Zor getting beat around kind of made me choice for some reason. Zor failing to, get the blade, and how we see how Rox just treats him like absolute crap after. Yeah, I will hopefully do a ranking on like the Forbidden Five later on how I like them. To my most liked to least liked members of the five. And yeah. Anyway, without further ado, I'll see you guys next time. Make sure to subscribe and do our great stuff. It does help me out a lot. And bye. I think I did forget to do a rating in this episode, so I'm going to do that now while I was editing. I couldn't see myself rating the episode. I do have a headache while I'm recording and a bellyache, and I feel a bit ill, so maybe that's why it slipped my head. If I did and I just missed it while editing the video, fair enough. I give this a 9 out of 10. Not a 10 out of 10, not a perfect episode. 1,000 discards, like Zark's battle, I don't really like too much. She kind of gets beat up. As a member of the five, you think he'd be decently powerful, or like somewhat like strong, even if he isn't the strongest in the five. Like somewhat of a threat. He isn't really. Lloyd can handle him alone, to be honest. Yeah, that's kind of the only thing. And yeah, so that's why it's a 9 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10.